The federal government has been accused of targeting marginal seats in a potentially illegal $100 million sports grants scheme. A scathing Auditor-General's report has discovered evidence of distribution bias in the awarding of grant funding. Political reporter Eliza Lashon joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Eliza, g'day. So what does this report say?
Joe, the report looks at the Coalition Government's Community Sport Infrastructure Program. Now, the program started in 2018 with the intention to provide more sporting facilities to Australia. It was about community engagement. Now, the grants were administered by Sport Australia. It sort of worked on the idea that it would be marked by 3 criteria and then awarded on a competitive basis by the Minister for Sport, who at the time was Nationals Deputy Leader Bridget McKenzie. Now, more than 2,000 applications were received and funding of $100 million was awarded to 684 projects in the months leading up to the election. But the report says hundreds of grants recommended for funding were rejected by the Minister, and a disproportionate number of them were funnelled towards seats that her office had earmarked as marginal and targeted. It found 41% of the projects awarded funding were not recommended by Sport Australia, and that continued to increase up to 73% in the third and final round. Now, a direct quote out of that report, Joe, applications from projects located in those electorates were more successful in being awarded funding than if funding was allocated on the basis of merit, assessed against the published program guidelines. There's also worries as well that legally the Minister didn't actually have the right approval to be choosing these recipients, Joe.
Yeah, and so this all sounds so familiar in terms of what's happened with politics over the years, and it's what people don't like about politics. What's the government's response been?
Well, we have heard from Senator McKenzie. Yesterday there was a statement out from her office, and today again we've heard her on the ABC RN program. She's fiercely defended the handling of this, saying the program is very popular, that no rules were broken and that all recipients were eligible. Here she is earlier, Joe.
The guidelines for the Community Sporting Infrastructure Fund were clear. The projects as they came in to Sport Australia were assessed against that. All projects that received government funding, received taxpayers' dollars.
Can you answer my question though? Going forward, will you do it again? Will you distribute government grants with a distributional bias towards marginal seats? Answer that question.
Tom, I will continue to use taxpayers' funds appropriately and distribute it according to the approved guidelines.
Bridget McKenzie talking there to Tom Tilley on Radio National this morning. So, Eliza, what's the opposition take on this?
Well, Labor has had a really strong reaction to this, Joe, calling it industrial-scale pork barrelling. Now, we heard from the manager of opposition business, Tony Burke, who wants Senator McKenzie to quit over this and says that the Prime Minister also needs to take responsibility. Here he is earlier.
This doesn't just say something about Bridget McKenzie as the Minister of the time. This says everything about Scott Morrison. I don't think anyone doubts for a minute that she was doing exactly what Scott Morrison wants, because this bloke views taxpayers' money as his personal marketing fund.
So strong reaction there from Labor, Joe, and we'll see how the government responds to those calls from Labor over the next coming hours.
OK, Eliza Lashon reporting there from Canberra.